It's time for a trip into the sanctum sanctorum. Are you ready, Joe?
I'm ready, Scott.
Let's jump in, Doctor Strange style.
Now it's garbage.
Just another movie night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Just Another Movie Nights Talking Trash.
Talking trash.
Talking trash.
Talking trash.
Talking trash.
Can I do it like that? Talking trash.
That's it. That's the stuff I like to hear.
Talking trash.
There you go. Yeah.
See how I harmonized?
Baby.
I totally tried. I did.
All right, yeah. So talking trash, we doing January. We're doing once again my birthday month, and I picked comic book movies that we have never seen. And
Obscure comic book movies. Let's just add that.
Well, let's just say the fact that when I say comic book movies we've never seen, I mean it. I mean because we watch a lot of movies and we've seen a lot of comic book films. So the problem is finding some crazy ones, some bizarre ones.
Yeah, and I feel like this journey has been nothing but crazy.
It's been interesting. It's been and really a weird experience adventuring into the unknown, because half of these movies we've watched are movies people have never seen because they're very strange. They all have these weird debacles. I think only one of these movies basically got a release.
Well, yeah, and then the other one was made for TV, just like this one.
Well, we have two. We did the first episode was Captain America, which was a TV movie, and there's two of those. They were both made for TV, just like the one we're about to do today. And then there was one.
Oh, Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four was made, but not for TV. It was actually made for the theater, and it was never released. Mm-hmm. And then we watched G-Men from Hell, which was another movie that I don't know if it ever got released.
I mean, just watching that, I would say that no, it didn't.
Yeah, I would say that too. I would say that that probably didn't get a release. And then we watched Men in Black.
Oh, well, we know that got released.
So that's the one movie that got a release.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm struggling with my headphones here.
Well, get your life together, you know? I mean,
trying to figure out where the sound is properly because I'm not used to these big headphones.
No, Scott got new headphones from Santa, and Santa is trying his best to get nice headphones for Scott.
I'm not made for nice things.
And they're pretty nice headphones. And
I have a weird shaped head too. That might be an issue.
You don't have a weird shaped head.
I do, because I got this headset on properly a few times, and now I don't know if I can get it on right. From Marvel Comics, that's the running theme of this month. We've been finding Marvel Comics movies that were made for TV.
Yeah.
Usually trying to start either a television show or some kind of universe. And what we're finding out is Captain America, the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, all had TV shows starting up. Captain America was TV and movie events. The Incredible Hulk had a TV show, is the only successful one of these.
Yeah, Incredible Hulk came out earlier, right, than 1979. Was it?
Well, it ran for 5 years, I believe, and I believe it's in the late 70s. I think Incredible Hulk was the lead-in. Spider-Man was about 79. The Captain America thing was 79. Thor, Daredevil appeared in the Incredible Hulk show. So they were setting up this universe of these characters. And I don't know if this Doctor Strange was supposed to fit into that universe. But I'm going to say right off the bat something wild.
Dun, dun, dun!
This is probably the better of the ones. I'm a little surprised. Well, I'm going to say that I watched The Incredible Hulk as a kid a lot.
Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
The Spider-Man was a complete bust. It did not work out. And Captain America is also a bust. This, the first 40 minutes, the first 30 to 40 minutes is actually quite good.
Okay.
I'm saying that right there.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I found I'll start off right off the bat. Okay, so this it's called Doctor Strange from 1978. It was you could feel the time period, which I like. I like that. But I also the acting was sort of decent. It was decent acting. I just felt that it was very slow moving. Nothing really happened in it.
Well, imagine if you can put yourself in this and say this was a TV show.
Sound like you're setting up a movie frame. Imagine if you will.
Yeah, honestly though, imagine this is 1978.
Yeah.
Imagine being a kid in 1978 watching this.
Quite simply, it unlocks the hidden potential within you. It's a way of realizing your own powers and using them to get what you really want out of life.
This would have been pretty good.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting at.
I mean,
For
yeah,
a TV show pilot,
I feel like we need more Doctor Strange. That's all. Like Doctor Strange.
well,
being
this is a
Doctor
pilot. Like again, this is a pilot.
Yeah.
You have to establish your character becoming this character.
Yeah, and I feel kind of gypped though because I feel like this should have been like they should have greenlit this and they should have gone on with it because
Well, yeah,
the
big time.
first a pilot, which you kind of feel this is a pilot. You feel that. You feel like it's supposed to be a pilot, not like a movie, but a pilot.
Yes.
And I feel like there's unresolved things and they should have kept on going with it. And I think it would have been maybe not greatly successful, but at least mildly successful enough that they could have made a couple episodes at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Well,
But-
that's some of the most interesting stuff about this is that Stan Lee really worked with the director. They became friends, and the director was really into this project. And
Yeah, I
Stan
read
Lee
that.
was actually pretty into this project.
yeah.
Oddly enough, I believe Steve Ditko co-created this character, if I'm correct, and I don't know why he wasn't involved. That's just one of those weird Marvel things where Stan Lee always was in forefront when
Yeah.
all these other creators kind of got shafted to the side. This is an interesting one because I'm a little surprised that this was made for TV. And famously, at the time, a lot of church groups and stuff went a little apeshit with Doctor Strange.
Seriously?
Because one of the reasons the comic code started and the entire trying to shape comic books around being more for kids, because at the time they were doing a lot of psychedelic, a lot of what people were calling satanic, and Doctor Strange was right in the forefront of that because they saw witches, warlocks, Satan.
Yeah,
That's all I
that's
kept
true.
thinking.
Okay, I get
And
it.
even his hand signature is what some people would call the devil sign. And it was not the truth, but they were doing this crazy thing. And there's actually some great stories behind the scenes of Doctor Strange creation. And watching this, I'm a little mind blown because this is very psychedelic. And it reminded me, and I asked you first thing we did, we were all watching this. I said, who directed this? Because the first thing I thought was Giallo, and I kept thinking Italian.
Oh, okay, I can see that. It did
Because-
have that kind of feel.
The music is kick ass.
Yes, the music is so like it's spicy. Like immediately, like just
Like spicy.
it is spicy because when you know that something's about to happen, but the music starts super early.
Yeah.
So like it continues on in this long, draggy shot with the music, and you're just like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Well, yeah, you're talking about the build, the idea of the build up music.
Yeah, yeah.
But the music is, if you put this and edited it over like our Dario Argento film,
Oh my
I
God,
would not be
yes.
shocked.
No.
because I would actually believe that this was the music for
Yeah,
that.
I would too. I was thinking that too. I was like, oh my God, this kind of sounds like 1970s Argento.
It's kind of rad. There's something about it that's dark. And that's one of those things I'm talking about. Why I cannot believe this was in '78.
Yeah.
Because was it '78 or '77?
No, 78.
Okay, so '78, and it kind of shocked me because it's a kind of a spooky tune. There's a really heavy
Yeah,
type of
that's why
thing,
you get that feel.
and then there's like some guitar, like a really like undertone guitar with this really strange vibe. It's dark and
Yeah.
it very feels that Giallo dreamlike experience.
Yeah.
And to me, I was in. I was invested
I really like the music.
almost instantly, especially when the way that this movie starts. So since it's talking trash, let's just start jumping into it because I've got to talk about a lot of scenes in this movie. We start off right off the bat in this film, and I looked at you. First off, we get a title card with some creepy music and some psychedelic art. And
Yeah.
there's like a title card talking about the whole nature of these realms. And the first thing we see is not a good guy. The first thing we see is the bad guys. And we get Jessica Walters.
She's from it's
Which,
Jessica Walter from
I mean, she's legendary. She
yeah, which you
unfortunately
guys know
passed away
her
at this point.
from the Arrested Development show.
It's a lot of people was going to say Archer.
Oh,
A
yeah,
lot of people know
Archer.
as the mother from Archer, the mother from Arrested Development.
I've been drinking since before you were born. So if alcohol's the reason I'm here, I got news for you, bub. It's the only reason you're here, too.
Hey, you're mean sober too.
But she's great. And right off the bat, we start with her. And she's like provocative dressed. Mm-hmm. She's like, which I'm
She's
also
a
shocked about.
sorceress, so she naturally she's got to get her groove on.
But I was shocked. We got like a cleavage opening.
Yeah, she
With
looks
her.
very beautiful.
Very pretty in this.
Yeah.
And she's dressed all whatever. And she's in a fiery hellscape of some sort. And she's talking to a demon who is gigantic in the clouds. Now, like I'm saying, we watched the Red Brown Captain America movies that came out after this. Those look like garbage compared to this.
You know, it's true. The
This
special effects
looks cool.
are very exclusive to the time frame, but they look decent.
I would say I'm going beyond that. I actually think they look pretty neat.
I mean, I'm gonna have to take it down a notch and say that the villain that Jessica Walter was talking to in the beginning, which we have to know, is
I don't think we're ever given a name. It's
No.
just some kind of demon.
just a demon. He kind of looked like like a really big sardine with like glowing red eyes.
Well, he
It
has no red eyes. He's got yellow
Okay,
eyes.
so
I
there's
think
like
he has
yellow.
4.
There was like red everywhere, so that's why I got confused. But so okay, yellow eyes, but
Yeah, there's like
he just
he's kind of like blended into a hellscape image.
Yeah, you can't really tell what he looks like
Yeah,
or what he
it's like a
is.
giant head. It almost looks like the Easter Island statues.
Yeah, or a little bit like the bad guys in Silent Hill game, where with
Which guy?
the guy with the
What, Pyramid Head?
yeah, pyramid head, and he kind of looks like that. That's why I said sardine because he kind of looks like that. But he also has this menacing voice, but it's
Oh, can we do it? Can you
yeah.
do an
Oh
impersonation?
no, I can't do it. You have to do it.
It's like, I want y'all. Bring me the men's souls.
And I will release you. I will release you from your captivity, and you can live the life you choose.
And she goes, but I'm attracted to men. I don't care about your sexual desires. I want men.
But I'm so lonely and I really need a man. I have desires.
Get over yourself, you bitch, and get me some human souls. It's kind
Okay,
of
well, he didn't say all that,
fantastic.
but yeah.
Beg me to destroy you, Morgan. Pray to me for death.
It's kind of, right off the bat. I looked at you, and then to cut from that, you instantly get the setup where she's like telling him, what's the plan virtually, right? And she says to him, well, the demon says, go to Earth and take out the sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
He's an old man. He's brittle, and he's faltering. He's going to pass on his I don't know what you call it, not his magic or whatever, but his mantle to the next successor. And she's like, how would I know the next successor? And he's like, follow the ring and you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So she goes to Earth and we get a shot of like an old man and he's doing a spell and he's looking at a book and you thought he died. He's just weak and brittle, like they say during that moment, and he goes to sleep.
Well, it looked like because he fell back in the chair, so
Yeah.
it was just like that.
The guy has
just
sat
died.
through a couple bad Marvel movies. I mean,
that's like me after I sat through the freaking
G-Men from Hell.
G-Men from Hell. I was like that.
yeah, that's exactly right. But yeah, so we see this beautiful girl, and she's talking to a demon in a hellscape with crazy music, and they cut to Earth, and she is walking around, and then she's following another beautiful girl. Mm-hmm. Who is this woman?
Okay, her name is Anne Marie Martin. She's playing Clea Lake.
Yes, which, and if you're a comic book fan, this is the soon-to-be wife of Doctor Strange in the comics. So she's following her, and they're playing that Argento-esque walking thing, and there's shots of eyes, just like giallo or Italian horror.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very cool.
And it's
Like,
very 70s. Like, the music is very 70s, but also eerie. I like it.
Yeah, when you say 70s, I just kept thinking dreamlike, horror-like.
Yeah.
It feels very horror.
It definitely felt like that. It felt like you were stepping into some kind of dreamscape.
And I'm watching this, and I'm not going to shit you. I thought to myself, holy crap, is this cooler so far than the actual Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange opening stuff? Because that stuff is so stereotypical of Marvel, where you're following a guy who's a dirtbag doctor, and he's rich, and you can't really connect with him in a weird way, because he's such a, like, I don't know, he's so stuck up. And in the other one, I think in that movie, you follow the villain and his minions, like, trying to gather up or whatever and go after spirit people. In this, we're following this very slow paced, taking its time, creepy, like, build.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is neat. And it all comes together in Jessica Walter's character. By the way, she's Morgan Le Fay, which, funny enough, isn't a Doctor Strange villain at first. I think it took like years for her to meet Doctor Strange.
Oh, well, she comes in right away. She's
Yeah.
in the first 13 seconds of the movie.
She
opens
she's
the movie,
the main
yeah.
character. She in comic book form, I think she didn't. I think she was in a couple other comic books first, which is really strange. I actually think that she's in Spider-Woman. first. Very strange. So she takes over this woman that she's following. They have this whole thing just like a Italian horror. The eyes. She basically seduces her, takes her over, and she goes to a bridge and she stares out. And the old man who is the Sorcerer Supreme from that opening, they said that she has to kill, comes up to her and says,
You shall not pass me, Morgan.
Your barriers have fallen. You cannot stop me now.
I have cast you out before. You shall not pass by me, Morgan.
You forced the choice, old man. Now it begins. It is calculated this time, old man.
and at that moment, the woman throws him off a bridge.
Oh, no.
Because she's actually taken over by this villain, Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah.
And he didn't know, so
He
he
had
walked
no
into that
clue.
trap. He fell off a bridge into traffic, survives. I like someone.
He's
he
got up
stands up.
and walked away, and
Someone
the
in
guy's like, "You all right,
Someone
man?"
in the background's like, "Is he getting up?"
It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. He just came from nowhere and he was... Oh, he's scared.
What happened? You better call a doctor. Is he getting up? Get an ambulance. Get an ambulance.
Hey, buddy, I'm sorry. I couldn't stop or nothing. You fell right in front of me.
What happened to the girl?
What girl? There's no girl. I didn't see. Did you see a girl? You all
What
right?
happened to the girl?
Did you see a girl?
And he gets up and he's like, "Did anybody see the woman?" And now she like wakes up out of the trance because Morgan Le Fay has left her, and she's standing next to her on the bridge, and she's like freaking out that she threw an old man off a bridge, and Morgan Le Fay's behind her going,
Is he dead?
"Is he dead?" And she's like, "Ah!" And she runs off. I mean, like totally, I'm on her side.
Yeah, this woman has a mental breakdown. Obviously, anyone would because she just threw an old man off a bridge.
Yeah, and this is our opening of the movie. She runs home, and she goes home, and the Sorcerer Supreme, in the comics, it would be the Ancient One. This character is supposed to be, but they got around that for some reason. Well, he goes back to his sanctum Santorum, which I also don't think they say in this movie at all.
They never say it. No.
And he is met by his friend and magician or whatever, his ward, I guess, Wong.
My intuition was correct. I felt an aura of great danger around you.
The danger has passed. For now.
Are you all right?
I'm several hundred years too old to be all right.
And
who's wearing a fancy suit, by the way.
Wong is dressed very nice. He's dressed to the nines.
Yeah, he's not like the Wong we know of, Doctor Strange movies today.
Like Tibetan monks.
Yeah, he's not like that kind of. He wears a suit and he looks very debonair.
Same thing with the Doctor Strange at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He also is dressed in a suit. He's not dressed in his cloak or anything like that. Wong and him talk, and he tells him that Morgan Le Fay is the Enchantress, which is also very interesting. That's a Thor villain. And
it's also a villain in Suicide Squad, so that's DC, but yeah.
Yes, you're right. There are two Enchantresses. And he says that, he tells him what's going on. Okay, she took over a young woman, and I think she's a college student, and he draws her perfectly, like the most perfect face.
It's a beautiful sketch.
Yeah, this is Steve Rogers level, just making all of us in a sketch. He gives it to Wong. He's like, "We have to find her. I think she's a college student. She's in danger, and we have to find her before they use her again because she's touched the plane, the other realm."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "We have to find Dr. Stephen Strange, Dr. Stephen Strange."
Yeah. So but the thing is that she's told to follow the ring, but how does she know who has it?
She doesn't. That's what she was saying. Like, how will I know who got passed to? And he's like, "Follow the ring. It will show you the way."
How's it work? Just follow my nose. It always knows.
And follow your nose. It always knows. So she has to look out for that. But he's like, find Stephen Strange, because we also have to talk to him. It's been a very long time since I've been in contact with him, which is weird later on. But he also is very important to this. So we cut to Stephen Strange, who is a doctor in what seems like a psychiatrist. Is like he's a doctor of some sort, but it's a well, you were
Well,
talking
he's a
about this.
medical doctor. He doesn't specialize in psychiatry. That's not his thing.
Not psychiatry, but he was taking care of the mentally ill.
Yeah, he was. It seems like he went to different wards, in the hospital. So he has like, he multitasks.
Yeah, he's not the surgeon that we know him as.
No, not at all. But
it's great though, because you get a really establishing shot of his life. He flirting with the nurse, they're friends, and he has a whole bunch of patients that he knows very well, and they set up, he cares.
Yeah.
He's very unlike the Benedict Cumberbatch version, who's kind of a self-absorbed jerk.
He seems more human, this Doctor Strange. He's like very 70s. He's got like the curly hair, wears the turtleneck,
Yeah, the actor, I don't know this actor very well.
Okay, well, I was just researching him. He has really been in a lot of crap. Okay. Like the stuff we've never seen.
I think, is he an Orca?
He is an Orca.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I knew him from. Okay.
Yep, he's an Orca.
He acts with his eyes.
Yeah.
He does a lot of, he really opens up his eyes really big. And he's always he really portrays that being shocked by what's happening to him with his eyes really well.
Yeah,
it works.
Does, yeah.
It works. But what's really funny is his patients, he talks to them and they establish how he's a nice guy. But we were laughing a lot because one of the patients is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he kept calling it, "You have to lay off the juice."
You have to lay off the juice, Edna.
Yeah.
What's her name,
like,
Edna?
Probably not. But he's like, "Are you drinking?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Edna." And she's like, "Okay, a little bit, but I need to go to sleep."
We made up Edna.
Can I have a little something? And he's like, "No, the juice is gonna kill you. If the juice is loose, the juice is gonna kill you."
Doc, I got the ulcers again. And I've been drinking milk like they told me to.
What else have you been drinking?
Not a drop.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Oh, well, I gotta have a little now and then. Just a little.
Look, if you don't stop drinking, you know it's going to kill you.
Well, I got the pains and I can't sleep nights. Give me a little something, Doc, won't you? Just this once?
No. Your ulcers will go away if you lay off the juice.
I'm trying.
I know you are. I've got an extra bed. You can spend the night here and I'll give you a little something to help you sleep. How's that?
Oh, thanks, Doc. You're the only one that gives a damn.
Here, I'll go get the nurse.
We couldn't stop laughing because every patient we kept saying, "Is he on the juice?" And later on, he's in a meeting with all the doctors, and he said, "She's on the juice again."
Her name is Mrs. Sullivan.
Oh, I like Edna. But Edna's on the juice. That's all you gotta know.
We named her Edna. Okay. Yeah, so, but he's a caring guy. So that's what we're getting.
We're really well.
Yeah.
But he goes into his room. He works a late shift. He lays down in his office to sleep on the job because he can't go home. And he starts watching Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, one of the best movies ever made.
And this is playing on everyone's TV in the entire movie.
Count Dracula sleeps in this coffin, but rises every night at sunset. Chick is right. This is awful silly stuff.
And I couldn't tell you if this was supposed to be Halloween night. It could have been. I have no idea because everybody's watching this.
Yeah, I don't think it's
at the same exact time. Clea, right? That's her name, Clea.
Yeah.
She is also watching Doctor Strange.
I
said Doctor Strange. She is watching Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein as well.
It's on everyone's TV.
What's the matter now? You know that person you said that there's no such person?
Yes.
I think he's in there, in person. I was reading a sign over here, this one down here, Dracula's Legend. All of a sudden I heard...
That's the wind.
It should get oiled.
Listen, stop reading this thing. That's a lot of phony baloney to fool McDougal's customers. Now fold up that canvas and get busy. Come on.
Well, these are the only two TVs we see. Is Strange's.
And then we see his. Then we see the patients. He goes in to check the two patients that are sleeping in the bed. He turns off that TV, and it's Abbott and Costello. And then we cut to her house, and she's watching it. So there's at least three TVs with this movie on.
Well, I don't blame them. And back then, in '78, there was only like 5 channels. So let's face facts.
That's true. There were only 5 channels.
There wasn't many channels to pick from. And if one channel had Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, screw every other channel. I would
That's
I would
true.
watch it too.
It's true.
Listen, you're making enough noise to wake up the dead.
I don't have to wake him up. He's up. I saw a hand.
You saw a hand?
Uh-huh.
Where?
Right over there.
Let me see it.
Right over there.
Where is it?
I saw a hand there.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're all excited reading this legend. Now listen. Listen, Wilbur. I know there's no such a person as Dracula. You know there's no such a person as Dracula.
But does Dracula know it?
Now listen to me. McDougal will be here any minute with the insurance agent. Now get to work.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So she is also watching this, but she is falling asleep while watching it. And Strange starts falling asleep. And they both see each other in their dreams.
This is really cool, actually.
So she starts seeing Morgan Le Fay, Jessica Walters, and pushing the old man off the bridge. And he sees it too. And they all kind of see each other. And they know something's up. You know, like they start having these panicky nightmares. But this whole dream freaks her out. And she wakes up out of her dream because Morgan Le Fay is coming closer to her and trying to get her. So there's a lot of her running in her nightmare. And she actually wakes up and runs out into the street and almost gets hit by a cab.
Hey, you trying to get yourself killed?
You all right, lady? What are you doing out here all alone?
I don't know.
Come on, I better take you in a cab.
And luckily the cabbie is a really nice dude
He
because
took her to the hospital.
she doesn't know where she is and she doesn't know what's happening. And he puts her and he brings her to the emergency room, which happens to be Strange's emergency room.
It happens to be his emergency room, and he, I mean, well, she comes in. I think he kind of like is smitten with her a little bit.
Instantly. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he saw her in his dreams.
Yeah, and he kind of was like a little taken aback by it, and I mean, naturally so, because you see a woman in your dream, and then poof,
Yeah.
she's there the next minute.
And it doesn't hurt that they're all pretty.
I mean, that only
These are pretty
happened to
people.
us, you know, when you first saw me, and you were like, "Damn, I had a dream about you, girl, and you're here in front of my eyes."
But damn girl.
Damn, girl, that only happened to once.
No other possibilities.
No.
But oh shit. But yeah, he gets like woken up by another doctor who meets this woman, and the other doctor's trying to figure out what's going on with her, and she tells him, "If I go to sleep, I'll die."
Because she knows that something's after her.
So he's like, "I'm gonna get another doctor to come in and check on you." So he wakes up Strange, and he brings him to her, and that's when he sees her for the first time, and it's like, and they kind of have that moment where they remember each other from each other's dreams, but they don't really know
Yeah.
because they can't be possible to them.
Well,
And Strange is also
obviously.
like science versus he needs facts.
Yeah, he needs facts. He's like a science guy, so he's not going to buy into any of this crap anyway with, any
Yeah.
sorcery.
So he starts taking care of her, and he's really good to her. She says, "I can't go to sleep." He gets her coffee instead of drugs, which the nurse on the
Oh my
head
God, she
nurse-
was like Nurse Ratched. She was
Yeah,
like,
she don't want that.
"Oh,
drugs.
we're giving her drugs. She won't take the drugs." Like, gee, if you're shoving freaking drugs down her throat and she doesn't want them, there's a reason.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, back the 70s was just like, here, we're just gonna give you random drugs for no reason. It's like, you don't want to go to sleep. Well,
Yeah,
you know what?
I mean,
you
that's Nurse Ratched in a nutshell, right
yeah,
there.
it's like they just wanted to throw pills down your throat back then.
Pretty much.
It doesn't matter what your ailment was. It's like, oh my God, I stubbed my toe. Oh, here's a sleeping pill. Oh my God, I have a headache. Oh, you're gonna need surgery on your abdomen.
Yeah.
Like, you go in for a freaking
I'm on the juice. Give me some pills.
go in for a sprained ankle and they do brain surgery.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 70s.
That's so funny.
Where were we?
Well, he's basically helping her not go to sleep, and the nurse is mad about it, and she kind of rats him out to the other head doctor. At the same time, we find out that Wong is taking care of the actual Sorcerer Supreme, and he's made him eggs. He's like Wong is awesome.
Yeah, but I feel like he's kind of like Kato.
Well, he says that to him. He goes, you're not my servant. You're my
Yeah.
friend and my colleague. And why are you doing it? He goes, because you're my friend and I'm going to take care of you. You need to be strong for what's coming.
Which is really sweet. But
It's
I feel
really-
like they made him too much butlery. I do feel that way. I feel like Wong he's awesome. He needs more to do. He didn't have anything to do in this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they're setting him up for future stuff. I think this really, like you said, you were mad because they didn't establish Doctor Strange enough. But I'm like, they have a
didn't.
lot to establish. They have to set up this Strange's sidekick or friend will be Wong. They have to set all that up, and they don't have a lot of time to do it.
I get it, but if they were going to continue this on, like we're
Well, that's
left.
how these pilots work.
I know.
The pilot has to air, get enough ratings, especially when there's only a few channels. It has to be a hit so they can pick it up.
Of the 4 channels of the 1970s.
Exactly, right? I
Well,
can
they're
see
just
someone
watching
now
Johnny Carson.
with the antennas. Well, we'll talk about that too.
I know.
But yeah, so Wong is taking care of him, and he's like, we have to find this woman. He goes, she ran out of her apartment. A cabbie picked her up, brought her to the hospital, and he's like, what hospital? And he's like, I already figured it out. She's at Strange's hospital. And he's like, oh my God, we have to go. And he's like, you're going to eat first. You have to get your power back.
I was like, okay, I get it. Like, but it just seemed too, I don't know.
Like Wong's taking care of it.
Like the courtship of Eddie's father.
Why is that?
Like, come on already. The guy, he needs to go get the girl, okay? The girl's all fucked up in the hospital, and she's very important to this plot.
But he's like saying, you don't have your power up. You fell off, you were thrown from a bridge. You were lucky to be alive.
That's true. I mean, he
you have
walked
to get
away.
your energy back.
He was fine.
He's actually great because he's like, the body, first you have to take care of the body and the mind to be ready for the fight. And I'm like, this is great. This guy is really helping. And he's like, you're absolutely right. So he does eat, and then he gets back, and he goes to the hospital. And at the same time, Morgan Le Fay is showing up at the hospital, and she's watching them all. And she sees that Strange has the ring, and she automatically knows this is the guy.
Yeah.
But the problem is she's also, like, kind of got the hots for him instantly.
Well, she's man hungry.
She is man
You know,
hungry.
like, I mean, she's a woman. She might be a demon or whatever, but she's a woman. She needs her stuff.
Yeah.
So she's like, ooh, look at him.
Well, yeah. Yeah, she's pretty much Pearl and X. We find out later on.
Oh, yeah.
So she sees that Strange has it, and the Sorcerer Supreme comes there and starts using his abilities to get what he wants. So he starts like mind wiping people a little bit so he can get into the office to meet them.
Yeah, any opposition, the Sorcerer Supreme is just like waving his hand, and not like the crazy waving of the hands
It's
like
more
you
like
see
Bella.
in Doctor Strange.
He's doing a little bit of a Dracula
yes,
Bella move.
It's that Hungarian
Yes.
thing with Bella's mesmerizing
Yeah,
hand
he's got like the
movements.
fingers a little like moved, and it's very slight,
Yeah.
so no one would notice if he was doing
Must
it.
be double jointed and Hungarian.
You come under my spell. You will be my slave of law.
My gosh, Bella, how do you do that?
You must be double jointed. And you must be Hungarian. Vampire, look at me. Look into my eye.
You must be Bella Lugosi.
Well, it works, and he's able to get in there and find them. And he's showing the sketch around too. I need this woman. He gets in there, he meets up with them, and he talks to Strange. And he finally talks to Strange a little bit, and he's like, "There's a lot of stuff we have to talk about." And Strange is like, "Do I know you?" He's like, I think I saw you in a dream."
Yeah.
Which is weird because early in the movie, the Sorcerer Supreme is talking to Wong, and he says, "Me and Strange haven't been in contact for a long time." That didn't make any sense to me a little bit.
No.
But I guess it's because he's been watching him to groom him.
Well, they never really follow up with that
No.
comment.
Never really do it. They just, for some reason, are interested in him.
Yeah, and that's why we're just treating this like a first time meeting because
Yes. Which I wonder if they were going to build on that later, and that was going to be some of the things
Probably.
like why me type of thing. But that doesn't ever really get to that.
No, it's just, he meets the guy and he says, hey, I saw you, I saw this woman, and she threw you off the bridge.
Yes.
And then there was another woman standing there too.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then he proceeds to tell him all about her and what her deal is. And then does he start telling him about the ring at that point? Because he wants to know, where'd you get that ring? And he does say, oh, my father had it.
My parents died in a car crash.
Yep.
And I was left his ring.
Yeah.
And the ring is also the exact same symbol as the Sanctum Santorum's window, which is that famous window in the front of that building.
Yeah, it's the window in
yeah, you've seen
the
it.
house.
Yeah.
But like
It's
honestly,
awesome
so if I'm a little bewildered by this because if his father was a sorcerer, he gave him that ring because he knew that he would also follow in his footsteps.
So yeah, I think that's what they were going to set up. I think they were going to set up that this family was in the mystic arts, and there is a league of people in the mystic arts, and that's what Wong also is.
Yeah, but there was no hint in his childhood that would have indicated maybe his father's just a little bit more powerful or just a smidge different from every other dad.
Well, I feel like there must have been something to it because he enters accidentally Clea's dream.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no reason that he would do that unless because she was touched by the mystic realm. That
Okay.
he is able, when he sleeps, he enters the mystic realm.
Okay, this is ongoing because I feel like
Well,
they don't
I'm
really
just guessing here.
establish
That's
that.
what
Yeah,
happens.
it's he only started doing that after he met
No,
Clea, right?
it happened before that. They met each other in the dream first.
You're right. Okay.
And he sees her in the dream, and then when he sees her in real life, he remembers from the dream.
Oh, that's correct. Okay.
Because I think that he walks that plane when he enters his dreams. So I think they're kind of establishing that he has powers.
But okay, but he doesn't feel like he doesn't know a thing about that ring at all.
No.
And he doesn't feel like he has anything different about himself.
No, but I think that it's kind of like set up later on that he's like, okay, I'm in and I believe it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a part of him that's like, I think I've always kind of known. The movie doesn't do that well enough because it's got a lot. It's got a
doesn't.
lot to do, and what's really interesting about the movie is it has a lot of stuff it needs to get through, but at the same time, it's also really okay with it taking its time.
It does. It's a very slow
It
paced
doesn't
movie.
care, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
like shocked that this was a TV pilot because there's a ton of stuff like entering the mystic realm and flying around and jumping through portals that
Yeah.
are psychedelic, and the movie does not care.
It
It's
doesn't
like,
even.
I want you to know that this is what we want to do.
Yeah, it doesn't even bother to have like it just jumps right into it, and I mean it's actually good because it's action scenes that you kind of need because the movie is like very slow paced and you're kind of anxious like in the halfway mark you're like okay we're already at the halfway mark, like something has to happen here, something.
I think that's one of the saddest parts about it is that there isn't action. This movie's like all about we want to just subtly talk or just do things and set up things and
Yeah.
make it interesting to look at. And it does that pretty damn well.
No, it really does, and I actually think the acting is pretty good too. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
for
mind
this
it.
time period in a TV like kind of pilot movie.
I've never seen
I
anything like this.
No, I think that the acting was pretty good. I mean, the special effects were pretty decent too. I mean, we're jumping forward to the 90s for Fantastic Four that we watched,
Mhm.
and I feel like the special effects haven't really gotten much better in the 90s.
This is, yeah, you bring up a really good point because this movie feels more comic book than I've seen anything. Dude, like this one, it seems like it really understood what this comic book was
Yeah,
about.
it does.
And it knew that it was about like less of action and more of like meditation and spiritual realm stuff. And
Yeah.
that's why I was fascinated watching this, because I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen anything, even the Benedict Cumberbatch movies. It's like they don't take their time. They get right into action constantly because
Yes.
they don't trust their viewers enough to give them slow pace.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot. Doctor Strange himself, I feel, is like a different kind of hero.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like Batman, who's just kicking ass around every
Well,
corner.
I disagree.
Oh no, you de-
No, I mean,
but-
he's not a mixed martial artist. He's a sorcerer. So everything he does, he handles that way.
To go to that point that you just brought up, the thing with, and I think that exactly explains what I'm trying to say, is like a lot of people assume when you take a combo character that there's action and fighting and cheesiness.
Right.
But like something like Batman, but a lot of people don't. There's a lot of detective work.
Right.
And there's a lot of like trying to find clues.
Oh, no, don't
and
misunderstand
searching
me, you
No,
know.
I'm saying, but you
Yeah.
never see that
Right.
in any form
Right.
of Batman. Like even the closest I think they've come is recently with that Robert Pattinson movie, but
Yeah.
there's still not really detective work.
Right.
It's kind of like a buddy cop bumbling kind of movie accidentally, when it could have really used from detective work.
They should definitely taken from the Arkham Asylum games and, you know,
Which-
did detective mode.
Oh yeah,
That was badass. And you get to investigate and you get to switch on detective mode in the game.
Yeah.
So badass.
Him using tech and slow building of trying to solve crimes
Yeah.
is a really amazing aspect of that character that never gets explained.
Batman, what are you doing?
I'm Batman-ing.
I'm Batman. I'm awesome. I got a 9-pack. I'm awesome.
Bigo, why has nobody fist bumped me yet?
The same thing goes here with Doctor Strange. Like everybody's just assuming it's gonna be, oh, it has to look like an acid trip,
Yeah.
but also fast-paced action. And this one's like, no, yeah, it does look like an acid trip, but we're also gonna have a scene of them flying for a little while because by the way, it doesn't look great. So you can see the ropes.
No, yeah, it doesn't look great, but I mean that's the 1970s.
Yeah,
it actually shows. It does show that it's the 1970s. I mean, it's evident that it is.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Oh,
but it
absolutely.
does a better job than most things I've seen. You know,
Without a doubt.
in the 70s or even 80s.
I'm kind of blown away by some of this movie because
Yeah.
I was very shocked. I was a good 40 minutes where I was like, this is actually kind of cool. Like I'm a little surprised. And well, I guess let's just finish this plot because I want to bring up another movie to compare it to that was also most of the Doctor Strange film. But basically, the Sorcerer Supreme and Doctor Strange hook up, and he tells him what's going on. Clea gets released from the hospital,
Mhm.
and she goes back home, and basically the two are flirting. Strange and her are flirting, and she's like, "Want to go on a date?" and everything like that. And he goes to her house. He wears a nice black turtleneck, which scared us right off the bat because we're like, "Oh, turtleneck!" So now we're getting worried.
Bond villain.
Bond villain. It's raining, and he's soaking wet because he used his jacket, his blazer.
And you know when someone's soaking wet from the rain and they come into someone's house like to pick them up for a date, it's
For the
like
first date.
sexy time.
Yeah.
You know, because let's get you out of this wet clothes.
Well, that's not what happened. But what happened is,
I know I'm a
she
pervert.
she says, "What do you? Is there anything I could get you?" And he goes,
I'll be ready in a minute. Can I offer you something?
I'd love a hot bath.
How about settling for a cold beer?
"I'd really like a hot bath." That's fucking crazy. Let me ask you, if I came to your house for like a first date, a blind date, and I was like,
I mean, not a blind date. They've seen each other before.
yeah, but they don't really know anything about each other.
Okay, first date. Say first date.
Okay, a first date.
And you said to
And
me
I
that
go in your
you
house and I
needed a
go,
bath.
Hey, you know what I could use? A nice warm bath.
I would be like, I'm calling the police.
Yeah, just like that's
get the
creepy.
fuck out of here.
But even weirder, her response is even stranger. She says, "How about a beer?" And then
Oh,
she kisses
nice.
him full on the
A
lips.
nice cold beer.
Yeah.
Smoochies.
He's got hypothermia,
He
and
would-
she's like a cold beer.
Yeah, well, I guess they felt at that point that they had to push the love plot along because it was just the whole movie was very slow paced.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we need to speed this along. So let's just hurry this up. Okay, kiss him. Okay,
Yeah.
let's move along.
Yeah, there's something really funny. Like she, the bad guy, Morgan Le Fay, she has a scene where she talks to the demon, and the demon's pissed off at her. He's like, why haven't you killed them yet? Like, why haven't you killed her and brought me the men? Like I told you to. And she's like, I'm kind of into him. All right, there'll be not to lie to you, Strange is kind of sexy to me, and I kind of want him, right?
Yeah.
And I am a woman, and I got needs. And he's like, well, let me remind you a little bit that what you really look like. And so he shows her an image in the water
And
on
she's
their
like
planet.
an old hag
Yeah.
with like white hair, and she looks awful.
It looks.
And she's like, my youth, my youth. Well, and then the demon tells, well, I can give you permanent youth if you bring me
Yeah.
Destroyed.
And I'll give you all the men you want when we take over the earth.
Yeah.
She's like, all right. I'll go back and I'll kill some people.
How have I toyed with you? I don't understand.
This mortal, Stephen Strange, is the one chosen by Lenma to succeed him. Thrice you had the opportunity to slay him, and thrice you stayed your hand. Why, Morgan?
I commanded Belzeroth to bring him to me. It was he who failed.
Do not lie to me, woman. Why have you spared him?
I am still a woman. And the man attracted me.
Then you find no satisfaction in my service.
I would feel the warmth of a man's arms again. After all these years alone.
You bartered human love for power. You made a covenant with me. Would any mortal man desire you if he saw you thus? Expect no pity of me, Morgan. If you desire the mortal, then you may have him, but only once my lust is satisfied. I hunger for the souls of men, and not until I have them will my hunger be fulfilled. Bring me the old man or destroy him. But if you cannot overcome the sorcerer, then Stephen Strange must die. Your time runs out, Morgan. You must act quickly. Do not let your vanity hinder you, or I will take away what you prize the most and leave you old and barren till the end of time.
That's exactly how it went, too. It's like, okay, hold on.
What's funny is he goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and I love it. Strange, before he goes on that date, he lets a cat in to the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Oh, yeah, which is not suspicious. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, who does this? His judgment is so poor.
It's because it's raining, and he's like, "Oh, kitty, you want to come inside and out of the rain?"
What if the Sorcerer Supreme is allergic to cats?
And again, yeah, it's not. It's someone else's
Very
house.
thoughtless.
Let me tell you something. If one of my friends opened up the door and let a cat in my house, I would
Oh my
fucking
god!
kill them.
First of all, you'd end up in the ER
Yeah.
because you're allergic to cats.
I'm allergic, unfortunately.
But yeah, I would freaking lose my shit. I mean, that's just not something you do.
I don't mind a kitty, but I am allergic, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mind kitties. I think kitties are demons. Fight me, I don't care.
So yeah,
Evil
he
cat.
lets this cat in, and he leaves. Of course, it's a black cat, and of course, there's a really cool sequence where the black cat is in the study to get the stuff from this.
Love this
And
sequence.
Wong is in there, and the cat starts morphing into a person.
Oh, it's
but
so rad.
what they basically did was they took a cat mask,
Yeah, with green, like almost glowing eyes.
yeah, glowing eyes, and they
Yeah.
put it on a person in a black leotard,
Mhm.
and they're slowly standing
Slowly
up.
standing up.
So
It
it
was
looks
so
like the
cool.
cat is actually mutating, like growing.
Yeah, like morphing into like from the cat to
And
the
I gotta
human.
tell you, it looked like a better effect than a lot of the
It
CG
did.
I've seen.
It
So
did. I liked it. I was like, ooh.
and Wong's like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
all automatically, and they have a little lightning bolt fight.
Yeah, and then Wong gets knocked out, but he's got like a spell on him, so
Yeah,
he
they
doesn't die or anything.
Yeah, they have a like a protection spell on the Sanctum and them. It's like a glowing yellow light around them.
Yeah, but she was
Knocks him out quick.
Yeah, she was very quick to knock him out, and I was like, oh come on, you're Wong. You can't do nothing. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like that was a little disappointing. So I'm like, this is Wong. I mean, you're not a. What is it you do? I buttle, sir. Like he was like a freaking butler in this movie. I was like, no, I don't like this. This is
Yeah,
crap.
she did him Wong.
She did him Wong. So Wong. So Wong.
Oh,
I hate us.
so yeah, so What button is it?
Yeah.
So,
we are such losers. Oh my gosh.
or was it this one?
That one. Yeah. So
yeah, she goes into the other room where the Sorcerer Supreme is waiting. Now this is great. He's in a full on monk Jawa outfit with a big hood.
He's got a cloak,
and
but it's
he's
like all
also
pointy. It's
up
so
on
cool.
a spider web type of flying symbol that looks almost like a pentagram.
Yeah,
And
this is
he's
when things get good.
Well, I actually thought this is where it started slowing down. So,
really?
yeah.
I mean, at least things are happening right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we went through a lot of dialogue.
Well, I'm
to
skipping
get here.
over a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of talking, a lot of stuff
lot
with
of
the
dialogue.
nurses and the doctor.
Yeah, it's like yap,
Yeah.
chat. Bat, bat, bat.
They have a lightning bolt fight as well, and you think that Morgan Le Fay might get her ass kicked. No, she beats him, and she's laughing at him the whole time.
Oh my god, yeah.
She shoots him instantly with a beam, and he is knocked
He's like
the hell out. Yeah. And
that's a sound effect for
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass out or just die.
nice. She I don't remember now how this happens. You gotta help me out with this one. I don't think they go on a date
No, don't go on a date.
because he goes to the house wet after he let the cat in.
Yeah,
And-
and then all that shit goes down at the Sorcerer Supreme house.
And then what happens to the date? Because they're in the house together and she got him the cold beer.
Yeah, but she shows up. Remember, she sees her in the mirror, and
That's right.
She
She starts
sees
screaming
Jessica
again.
Walter in the mirror, and she's like, oh my god, she's in here, she's
Yeah.
gonna get me. And so she starts panicking, and then she's freaking out and having a mental episode again, and so he has to calm her down, and all that. And so yeah, they don't go anywhere, and they end up at the Sorcerer Supreme house after this.
I don't remember that because she has, well, somehow Morgan Le Fay. Oh, you know what we skipped over? We skipped over an entire scene where they battle. There's a scene where she takes Clea, and she gets a demon from a realm that's a guy on horseback. And the guy on horseback is like, he's like the Black Knight.
Like
and
the
you can
knights
hardly
that sing
see
me.
him. Yeah, kind of a mix between the Black Knight and the Knights
It's
that
just
sing
a
me.
scratch.
You make me sad. So be it. Come, Patsy.
None shall pass.
What?
None shall pass.
I have no quarrel with you, good Sir Knight, but I must cross this bridge.
Then you shall die.
I command you, as King of the Britons, to stand aside.
I move for no man.
Yeah, and you can hardly see him. He looks like medieval times going on.
Yep.
And he gets her, and Strange has to go into that realm, and they have a flying sequence. And the Sorcerer Supreme has told him to say a line of dialogue that will banish the demons away from him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, repeat it after me. You have to use this and remember this. So he says it to the guy on the horseback.
In the name of Ryle, scourge of demons, I command you, be gone! Be gone!
And it banishes him, and he's able to fly out of the realm with Clea.
All right. We'll call it a draw.
Come, Patsy.
Oh, I see. Running away, eh? You yellow bastards! Come back here and take what's coming to you! I'll bite your legs off!
And he saved her, and that's pretty much when she wants to go on a date with him, and that's why they go on that date.
Yeah.
So that's when the demon is mad and is like, why haven't you killed him? And she's trying to banish the guy on horseback, and he's like screaming for help from the demon, and the demon's like, it ain't his fault.
Yeah.
So they send him back. So she's got this other chance. Now that she's beat the Sorcerer Supreme and Wong, she has like free reign.
Mhm.
And somehow she gets Steven, and she brings him to the planet with the demon on it.
Yeah.
Right? And she goes to that realm, which is like a hell realm. And basically she's like, I can give you whatever you want. Do you find me sexy? And he's
Yeah.
like, hell yeah.
So they start making out.
Now, his girlfriend, he just went on a date with a girl he's into, and she's sleeping. And he
Mhm.
left her sleeping, and she's in this realm. And he starts making out with her, and they almost start getting uglies. They
Getting uglies?
They button uglies or whatever.
Wait, bumping uglies?
There you go.
First of all, I don't even get that expression. But yeah, they're about to, as you would say, bang?
Or thrusting.
Thrusting.
So
I like thrusting.
So
but no, there's really no thrusting because this is like
but
PG. But
it looks like she takes her clothes off and lays down, and he gets on top of her, and then all of a sudden she has her clothes on.
No, she has her dress on.
She looks great. She has this cool like red dress, and she starts giving him like, "I'll give you powers and wealth," and
No, she just wants him as her man.
Yeah, she gives him an entire Mr. T necklace.
Oh my god, the outfit that she gives him, he
like a
looks
black
like
cloak.
It's like a black cloak, but it's all blinged out. Like he literally looks like he's just like ready to go out and start pimping. Like it's amazing. It's all jeweled out.
Yeah.
He's got this big ass necklace around him.
Yep.
Like I mean, he just looks like he really is just managing some hoes.
Yeah.
And it's the most amazing outfit. I love it.
Yeah, and she says to him, "Now I'll also give you powers. Raise your hands up to the sky and shoot lightning," and he does it. And he's like, "Hell yeah. I'm getting everything I want, and I get this hot broad? I want it all." Right?
He's a hot broad.
So then she screws it up.
Of
because
course.
she says to him, she goes, "Take off the ring." I guess that's the one thing, is the ring is protecting him. But the Sorcerer Supreme has told him his parents actually didn't die the way that he thought. They actually died protecting him, very Harry Potter style.
Yes.
And the ring, his ring, is their protection spell, and that's why he can't take it off. So he's never washed that damn thing ever. He's never washed underneath or anything. So
well, he can't take it off. It's really huge, by the way. It's like a huge ring. It looks like
one of those
like a Celtic
or the high school rings that you get.
Oh yeah, the high school rings, like the big clunky. I never got one of those.
I never understood
freaking
them.
clunky.
I never really understood why
tacky.
people got them. Yeah.
I don't like it.
So she said, she's basically like, "I gotta get that ring off of him," and she says, "Take the ring off," and he's like, "I can't get it off," and he goes, "Also, the Sorcerer Supreme made it so I can't take it off," and she's like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about him anymore," and he says, "Well, why don't you take it off?" And she goes, "I can't either." "Well, let me show you that you can take it off. Come with me." And this is where she really drops the ball. Mm-hmm. This is the dumbest thing a villain can do.
Yep.
She shows him that she has the Sorcerer Supreme zombified in a web.
Yeah, he looks really creepy.
He looks really creepy.
Who did I say he looks like?
Eyes.
I made a reference saying he looks like somebody.
I have no idea. He's really spooky looking, though.
Yeah, it was creepy.
I feel like you did some kind of musician or rock star or something. Did you make a joke about that?
I don't remember.
So he's just staring at them. His eyes are wide open, and he's just staring at him. And he can't move or anything. He looks dead. And she's like, "Yeah, you see him? I got him. You don't even have to worry about it. You can take the ring off." And he's like, "That's some shit.
Yeah, like
that's not my friend.
That's like my guy."
Yeah, he's like,
I'm not.
Can you imagine going on a date with a girl? Everything's great. She gives you magic powers, jewelry. She's like, "I just want to knock boots with you, and I got you everything. But you know your best friend? I got him webbed up over here. He's dead."
Bitch, are you for real?
Like that? What the fuck?
By the way,
why
I
would
love
you
your
do
90s
this?
references. You're knocking boots. I love it.
Yeah, that's a 90s reference.
Yeah, knocking boots.
I thought that was a forever reference.
No, I think that's just 90s.
Well,
Let's give the 90s back to the 90s.
if this hellscape is a rockin'. And he's like, looks, and this is my favorite part. He looks back and forth a lot. He looks at his friend. He looks at her. And it's like that moment where he's like, I mean, am I mad? I think I'm mad.
Yeah.
But look at her.
Yeah, look
and
at
she's
her.
she's all into me.
She's a hot piece of ass.
Yeah, and she's
then
giving me powers.
And she's giving me powers, and that's awesome and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got this guy, though, he's like, he's kind of like my mentor. He's going to show me awesome things.
Yeah.
But I already got powers from this woman, so...
And to be fair, Strange is really funny because his Hippocratic oath is, "I am getting paid for this."
Yeah.
That's basically how
you're a doctor.
Yeah. He's like, I help people. for
Yeah,
money.
Yeah, I help people, but I'm getting paid for this.
Yeah.
Of course, you're getting paid for it, but also,
That should be your
you
least
made
of your
an oath
concerns.
that you.
But that's his. So that's what he's thinking in this moment. He's like, money is nice,
Like, do I
and
really need that?
some broads are nice, but this old man is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I got a really cool cloak.
Yeah, he's like,
know?
damn,
It's all jammed up with like bling and stuff.
I think he looks back and forth a couple times. It's like me when I'm looking at a Chinese food menu and I'm like, do you know what I want?
The fried
do I want
wontons,
this?
or do I want the Mongolian beef? I don't know.
Do I want peppers tonight or spicy?
Hmm.
And then I look back and forth between the menu and the bathroom, and I'm like, is it gonna be worth it?
Do I want the atomic shit?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe I don't want those. Yeah, it was one of those.
And
moments.
we always go for the Chinese food, which I guess he didn't go for the Chinese food. He went for the bathroom right off the bat because he frees. He says no, and he fights her.
Yep.
And he wins.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
Pretty quick, yeah. It's like the movie kind of drags and drags and drags, and then when the shit hits the fan and things are happening, it just happens in a blink of an eye. Like, you don't have any time with it. It just kind of comes and goes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, here's a little bit. Fuck you, we're out.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll give you something, and that's it. You get 5
wild.
seconds, you're
It's
done.
wild. And he like zaps her, and it beats her quick, and then he frees the Sorcerer Supreme. He goes back to the Sanctum, and they're free. Meanwhile, Morgan Le Fay is on the planet, and the demon's like, you failed.
You have failed! You have let me be defeated! Beg me to destroy you, Morgan. Pray to me for death. You shall not have it. I will punish you until you scream to me for mercy. Look upon yourself. Cry out, Morgan. Your agony will be a comfort to me. Perhaps if your screaming pleases me, I may yet take pity on you. But now, look.
You failed me bad.
And really bad.
You're an idiot. Why did you show me his dead friend or his almost dead friend? You're an idiot. And then she's like, she starts screaming, like, why? And he turns her into an old woman. And he's like, he's so funny. The demon's so funny. He's like, I'm going to leave you here. I could kill you and take away your life. But instead, what's worse is I'm going to let you live like an old hag that you are. And he turns her back into Spike Jones. In his old woman makeup, and leaves her on the planet. She's got this giant fake white wig.
Yep.
And she's just screaming like, why? Why did you do this to me? I don't remember what she was screaming. She's screaming some kind of question over and over and over. And we cut back to the Sanctum, and they heal. Wong is able to wake up, and they heal the Sorcerer Supreme. And the Sorcerer Supreme's like, it's time for me to give my powers, but I want to pass it on to you. Are you ready to learn? And he's like, Strange is like, doesn't even take him more than a second. He goes, yep.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I mean, you have to be a dummy.
Yeah. And they zap him with their powers. They pass the powers onto him. And instead of showing up in the Doctor Strange outfit, he's actually shows up in what I would call multiple characters from different universes outfit.
Yeah.
It almost looks like Dr. Fate from DC Comics.
Yeah.
With the star. It's going to bother me who this
star,
character
though,
is.
that's not part of his original costume in the comics. That star.
No,
like,
he's
they
always
just
had
added
a
that.
blue outfit, yellow and red has always been his colors.
Yeah, they just added that extra little for whatever.
Let's be
reason.
fair. He also doesn't have. He has a fro, and Doctor Strange has slicked back black hair with white streaks.
It is the 70s. They had to give him that.
Yeah.
I don't think they could smooth that out.
He's got those curls going on
with product.
Yeah. So yeah, he has this cool. That's his outfit. It's blue. It's like baby blue. It's not Doctor Strange blue. It's like a weird baby blue with yellow. Everything is like bright yellow and
Yeah.
gold, and he has a gold star on his chest.
Yeah. And it's
It
weird because he usually has like I'm looking
a
at
cool cape.
a
He doesn't.
picture of the cape and it's like it's really rad. I mean, it's closer the real cape is closer to like the Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch's
I
outfit's
mean,
amazing.
it's
They did a
amazing, but
great
you
job
could
with it.
tell that it's, they had the budget, they had the time, they had
Yeah.
the team.
Oh yeah,
You
they
know?
made the cloak. That's one of the best things about the Cumberbatch stuff is the cloak is alive. It's really well done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone in this movie actually changed clothing only once. Like, it was
Yeah, well, yeah. There was some cool. I think
Jessica
Jessica
Walter.
Walters and also the other actress. They put her in like these
Oh yeah,
white
she had a
white
couple of
robes and
wardrobes,
stuff.
yeah.
And
But otherwise it was like they didn't really do a lot to the wardrobe, the outfit of Doctor Strange.
well, the other one was in a monk outfit. Don't forget that monk outfit that
Oh yeah.
the Sorcerer Supreme's wearing. So they pass it on to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange has that outfit, and he's like, "I'm ready to learn." And we cut to him with Clea again,
Yeah.
and they're basically flirting again. I think she comes to the hospital because once again he's late for his meeting with the other doctors, which is a running joke with him. He's always late. They're asking him, "Don't you have a watch?" And he's like, "I do, but I always leave it behind."
I know, which is funny is I was making a joke too. I feel like there's two people in the world that should not be late because that just pisses you off. One of them is a doctor and another one is a tattoo artist.
Both we've had both be late to everything.
Yes, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, he shows up late to that doctor's thing. It's a joke. When he gets out of the office and he finally finishes his shift, Clea is waiting for him. She is doing sketches as well, and he goes. They go walking together, and they flirt. And while they're walking, they come to televisions in a window, and very oddly, Morgan Le Fay is on television being interviewed, and she's staring into the screen like with bright eyes, like, "Yes, it's me. Yes, it's me."
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh, Mrs. Le Fay, you're doing reach out like for the kids. You're doing this whole like reach out program type of thing." And she's like, "Yeah, through the children will the future will happen." So I don't really understand this part. So the demon allowed her to do another
Yeah, because
project?
I feel like had this show actually taken off, I've had this movie
They
actually
would've brought
taken
her
off
back
into a
more.
show, they would have brought her back and she would have been an arc,
Which I don't blame them because she's great.
She's great. Yeah, she's really great. But I feel like that was kind of like a throwaway. They should have done something else, but they kind of basically were saying, okay, well, she's back and she has a new mission.
Yeah.
Like the
And
demon let her come back for a reason,
Yeah, it's very strange too that
but we'll never know.
they're going with that with her with the kids because that seems very familiar to a DC Comics line of Granny Goodness.
Yeah.
Instead of this character, very strange thing, and I was like, that's interesting. And they don't react to her being on television really well. Clea just goes, "Eh, that's weird." Right? She just
Yeah,
reacts like
she
that.
doesn't really have. Yeah, she's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
And they walk on and they get to her house and they basically flirt and he's like, "You want to go on a date?" And she's like, "Yep." And he's like, "Okay, I'll see you at 7."
Yep.
Which is also strange because earlier on in the movie, basically they're saying that the Sorcerer Supreme can't have relationships. You have to sacrifice when you become when you're going to become the Sorcerer Supreme, you have to
Yeah.
give up all of your attachments and give into the mystic arts.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm down with it," but then he's like saying, "I'll go on a date with you." So it's very strange.
Yeah. Ah, I see what you did.
Oh, I didn't even realize it.
Derp.
Let's do it. So
Goob.
yeah. So yeah, the movie pretty much ends on that note.
That's
we see
it.
Jessica
It's Finn.
Walters is back.
Yeah.
We see that he's become the Sorcerer Supreme, and yeah, that's
it. It's Finn.
And-
The credits roll.
Yeah.
It's like we know that we're not getting anything else. It's like, okay, well, this is what you get, and you have to deal with it.
Well, here's a fun fact, right? The reason this never came back, the reason no one watched it, is because one of the biggest television events of all time was happening at the same time on another channel, Roots.
Oh shit.
Yes. So
Okay.
Roots destroyed this. Stan Lee, I think, has a quote where he said, Roots really screwed us over. Yeah, Roots
Well,
was like a very important event.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Come on, Stan.
Yes.
And
I know that like he was so beloved in the his later life, but it's very funny if you go back and watch. Like I wanted to put in, I don't think I did it in the Fantastic Four episode, but he was going everywhere saying, "Oh, the Fantastic Four movie never happened." That really did. And then there's a clip from him at a comic show, and he said we're just finishing the Fantastic Four movie. I don't think it's gonna be very good.
yeah, he
It's
actually
like,
said that.
he actually said that.
I'm
It's
like,
like,
first of all, aren't you friends with Roger Corman? Why wouldn't you?
yeah,
Why would you
exactly.
say that?
That's rude.
Like, I don't know what he was thinking at that
He
time.
did that kind of stuff all the time,
I mean, it
and
was
people
very
kind of like
bizarre.
want to forget it.
It's
but
like he if it failed, which it did, he didn't want to be associated with it. He wanted to remove
and guess
himself
what?
from it.
It's a lot better than a lot of these other
You
ones.
know what? It truly is.
Yeah.
So, you know what? It is
Well,
what it is.
well, the funniest part is like I feel bad because the director of this really, you could tell he really loved the project.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. He gave it a lot. He gave it a lot of ideas, and the actors are good. And I think they
so.
really would have been great to see in the next installment or a TV
Yeah.
show. And I think if people did see this, I think people really would have enjoyed it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think simply because, it ended with kind of like a whatever that, it could possibly go on.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of movies that end like that with like a cliffhanger, and that's fine, but it's almost, we just need it to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll give this a 5.
Yeah. And this is again where you've given something a low score and I want to go higher.
But it's only because like there was unresolved things and they could have, they could have done more. Like they could have done more with
absolutely.
Wong.
But you
They
gotta
could've-
go 70s television money.
Yeah, and it was pretty good special effects. I mean, 5 is mediocre. It was mediocre. It
'Cause
wasn't great.
We love Star Trek.
Yes.
And so how can we give that a pass when episodes of the original series were so cheesy?
How dare you speak
Well,
of the
you
Gorn?
understand what I'm saying.
How dare you?
I mean, like, think about this is a TV event that was supposed to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And think about the pilot of Star Trek that we give passes.
All right. All right. I'll go one higher. I will give it a 6. It is not a 7, so don't
No,
even
6
think
is
about
what I was
it.
thinking too.
But
I
I'll
don't want to
say
give it a
6.
5 because I didn't hate this.
No, I didn't hate it. It was a little, like I said,
It's not
draggy.
great, but it's a pilot of a TV show. And
yeah.
for that, I'm kind of impressed.
But see, we only know it as a pilot of a TV show, like, because we read into this. But according to IMDb, this is a TV movie. So anyone watching this, if you just stumble upon this, or you buy the $3 DVD like I did, you're gonna see that this is, like you just want more out of this if it's a standalone movie.
Well, it was a very smart practice because what they would do is they would put it out and say it's a TV event, right? A TV event. I don't think they called them movies back then. They would say a TV event special, like a special event.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if it was popular, they would make a show off of it.
Yeah.
And that's a very smart way to do it. They had to judge the rating system, and they really didn't know what they were. In the 70s, they were trying like what's going to work.
Yeah.
And so
also, this is an obscure character that back then, he wasn't. It wasn't like saying, "Oh, okay, we're making a show about Superman."
Yes.
Like Doctor Strange is not, well known. Like even when they started making the Cumberbatch movies, I don't feel like everybody knew who Doctor Strange was. Still.
Yeah, 1,000%. I'm gonna say
Like
this.
people
Yes,
went
I
in
agree.
there and they're just like, "What? Who the hell's Doctor Strange?"
Yeah, it's like when the Guardians of the Galaxy got a movie. Everybody was like, nobody knew who they were.
Only
And
the nerds like
only
us
the nerds.
that were like.
You weren't
I mean,
aware of them either.
I knew of the Guardians of the
Because
Galaxy.
we talked about it, and you were like, "What?" And I'm like, "This is the craziest movie. This is gonna be the craziest movie."
No wonder how they're gonna put a talking raccoon.
I kept
on
telling you, I'm
screen.
like, "You gonna
I
can't
was
wait.
like,
There's going to be a talking
wait.
tree and a talking raccoon.
I'm like, how are they?
How are they going to do it?" And he blew
But
it out of the water. I never
it is-
expected it to work.
Hands down, one of my favorites. I'm obsessed. With
But that's the
Guardians.
kind of thing. It's like
But-
Marvel characters, unless they were Spider-Man, it was like culty. Like it depends. Like everybody had a favorite. The X-Men, Spider-Man. Fantastic Four
Yeah.
was pretty big,
Yep.
which is odd because we still don't have that movie series in the MCU. But like all the characters everybody knows, the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man, all those
Yeah.
characters weren't the biggest characters that had to be together in the Avengers. So it
True.
was always
Yeah.
Spider-Man and X-Men were
Yeah.
like the top tier of Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
With people liked some of the other characters, but like big series events, not that way.
No.
Doctor Strange was very culty.
Yeah. So
But
I mean,
would
that's why I
say-
understand back in 1978 why it didn't take off. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
If a kid was watching this, I would think this would be like, holy crap. At school the next day, being like, did you
feel-
see that thing last night?
if they switched it up a little bit, if your target audience is children, you might want to put a little bit more sorcery in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it took 40 minutes just to get anything to happen in this movie. It was very slow.
Yeah, and that's
And
why
you
I
can't-
can't. The only reason I almost give it a 5 is because I will admit there is a lull.
You know,
in
I'm
the
sticking
middle
with
here.
my 5. I'm sticking with my 5 because I said it in the beginning, and that was my first that was my first take on it, and I'm going with that. Is that if there was a 6-year-old child sitting in our living room right now watching that, the dialogue would just destroy this kid. I mean,
Well, there's a difference
no
between
way.
the 6-year-olds in the 70s and the 6-year-olds in the 2000s.
But I still
the late
believe, like,
2020s.
You're right about that. You are right about that. But I feel like still like there's no way to hold the kid's attention in the first 40 minutes of this movie. There's just no way. There's nothing going on. It's just too much dialogue for a child.
What's like the biggest money maker movie wise in the 70s? And at this time, what do you think was the big movie? Because I'm trying to think of the special effects, the thing. What was the big thing that was getting kids like freaked out?
When did Close Encounters come out?
I do you think that was a kids?
I mean, it's about aliens. I mean, kids are like flocking
Yeah,
to that.
it's an adult film. And
Or
it's not-
Jaws. You know, like, I mean, Jaws was a big thing. It's 76 or 74.
I guess.
So yeah, but I mean, kids are attracted to monsters. Kids are attracted to, like magic.
I guess
and
Star
stuff.
Wars too, by the way.
Yeah, Star Wars, 1977. So like that stuff. You know, kids are, oh my God, robots? Holy shit.
Yeah, but even New Hope is slow at times.
Well,
So that's
yeah,
what I'm
but
saying.
there's
I'm
droids,
trying to point out.
like right off the bat, there's droids, there's little tiny, things
But
walking
that's
around
also
the
a
desert.
full-edged theater movie. I mean,
Right,
what
but I
I'm
mean-
saying is like comparatively, like what a kid is watching versus, like, I think their mindsets were a little bit on. I mean, like I liked Kroll when I was a kid. You know, it's very hard to watch now, and I thought it was cool as hell.
Or Dune.
Well, I never had seen Dune, but there's a lot of people who grew up thinking that was the coolest movie.
Ron. Like sci Oh, you know what movie I loved in the 80s? Solar Babies. That was so cute.
God bless you.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm going back to 5. It's going to be a 5
a
because
sad
it's
thing.
not holding. I mean, I'm a grown woman, and I was just like, ugh, I can't. I'm like, all right, something has to happen because it's been 45 minutes and we're almost done here, and
We're
nothing-
jaded as well, though.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I wanted to bring up before I forget. The movie I was going to bring up is Full Moon.
Oh,
with that's a Doctor Strange movie, but they didn't have the rights. They thought they had the rights to Doctor Strange,
Oh!
and then they had to change it.
Is
at
it
the
Jeffrey
last moment.
Combs?
Yes.
Okay, Jeffrey Combs. I bought that movie.
Yeah, it's what is it called? Something with an M.
No. Oh, Dr. Mordred.
That's it.
Dr. Mordred.
So that movie is
Yes,
closer
okay.
to Doctor Strange. This and that together.
Oh my God. Dr. Mordred. We love Jeffrey Combs. God bless you, Jeffrey Combs.
You weren't home, so I put it in there. I certainly didn't think you'd want to find it like that. I did not want to stink the place up. I was going to show you.
You couldn't call or write a note.
I was busy pushing bodies around, as you well know. And what would a note say, Dan? Cat dead, details later.
Yeah.
My point, though, is
Sorry.
that was almost a Doctor Strange film, and that also feels like this, where it's kind of like, oh, this is kind of neat.
It is. Yeah,
And
that's
it
different.
takes it.
80s, I think. Oh, different.
But how wild that is! Like that almost was a Doctor Strange film.
I know. You know, I could totally see Jeffrey Combs as Doctor Strange back then. He could do it.
Yeah, he could have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did it in that movie. So yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of knockoffs of things, but You're right. You're right. I mean, it's a good comparison movie for sure. And
Yeah.
I recommend Dr. Mordred. I think that was a
I
that's a
think that's
fun
like this. I think
movie.
they have there's things about both.
Yeah, I mean, this is talking trash, and I would not say this movie's trash. I wouldn't. So
Yeah, I don't think so either.
no, but we're still,
It's a fun find.
it is a fun
Yeah.
find. $3. I'm
Well,
a winner. I
I'm
did
giving it a 6.
Well, you go ahead and you embrace that 6. You embrace it, and I'm keeping my 5 simply because it was dull in a lot of scenes, and I just wanted something to happen. Yeah, and it had some things that were annoying a little bit about it, but 5. It was decent. It was a mediocre movie.
All right then.
This is a fun discussion.
So real fast before we finish and wrap up here,
Uh-huh.
we watched January comic book movies, and this is the last of the
Aw,
comic book films.
It's over.
How do you think this went?
Well, it was shitty as fuck. I mean,
What was the best?
Oh, well, I mean,
What's the top tier?
I guess we're gonna have to say, I did like Fantastic Four movie.
You gave it a 4.
Yeah, I
You-
did give it a 4.
You gave this one higher, and you gave Men in Black higher.
Yeah, I guess of all the ones we did, I think the one that was most watchable without cringe moments would have to be Men in Black, because it was shot better.
Mhm.
Gary Gray was the director. He was a better director than most of these movies had. Sorry, Roger Corman, but
I think it's okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to say that Men in Black did win this set of movies for the month. I don't want to say that, but I have to. I have to. Yeah.
I think I'm going with this one.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
And then probably Men in Black, and then Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Definitely the bottom. Definitely the bottom is G-Men from Hell.
Oh, that's at the bottom. I mean, that
Without
I
a
never
doubt.
want to talk about that movie again. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so bad.
Yeah.
Like my brain hurts. Like my hair follicles are standing up on my arm just thinking about the fact that we had to watch that thing.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an attempt at something different, a genre.
It
we
was fun for your
yeah.
birthday month. It's what you wanted. And
was all
April,
shit.
April is my birthday month, and I'm going to pick a real slew of
It's all
garbage.
on you. You can pick whatever you want.
Charles Band, I'm looking at you.
Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding.
Have we not seen them all?
No.
All right, that's wild.
We've not seen them
That's
all.
crazy.
No, I'm gonna torture the shit out of your ass. We're doing Giallo all month.
Nice. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a good one. We appreciate it. Bye.
I am Kali, goddess of destruction. I am Lilith, queen of demons, end of the flesh. And I am Ishtar, bloody Ishtar, and I am Morgan.
You have failed. You have let me be defeated.
Oh, shut up. You and your erection. And why are there donuts everywhere? Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants.